I think, we talk a lot in Zen about there is no time, no space.
Mhm.
So we make time and space. That's a really difficult concept, actually. But there is no such thing. So we make that. And this I that we carry with us is capable of making that, because if we have an I, we can have other than I. And when that collapses, or you might say explodes or disappears, there's no I and other, and there is no time, no space. It's very wild.
Mm.
So that sounds all kind of highfalutin, you know, fancy Zen stuff. But what a way to bring that down to earth is to Zen is I always like to say that Zen is so basic and it's so simple that it seems esoteric, right? So it seems like this weird stuff that we hear. Like I love this express the story about Unmun. Somebody asked Unmun Zen Master, "What is Buddha?" And Unmun said, "Dry shit on a stick." Right? So we hear the story and we think, "Oh, that's weird. You know, what the heck is that supposed to mean? That's that Zen stuff." Right? But all of these things have their roots in some simple everyday life thing. So when I was doing this solo retreat for 100 days, they didn't have a bathroom there. There was just an outhouse. There was an outhouse that was a little far away from the cabin. And then, not to be gross, but there's like this just shit bucket on the deck there. There was a small deck. And then you would drag the shit bucket over to the outhouse because it was hard to walk through the deep snow, and then dump it out. Well, that got frozen. The shit got frozen. And so, one day I was lugging it really far in this deep snow, and I was huffing and puffing to dump it out into the outhouse, and it wouldn't come out. So it was frozen. So I had to find a stick. And so I found different sticks, and some of them would break, and they weren't good shit sticks. And then finally I found this perfect stick. And this stick was kind of like, had this nice long flat, almost like spatula thing on the end of it. And it was the perfect stick for scooping the shit out of the shit bucket and into the outhouse. So I saved the stick. It came in very handy. And so when I would take this bucket back to the cabin, I would leave it empty there, and I just lean the stick against this wood pile outside. And it just dawned on me that day, like, that's probably what Unmun did. He was probably in a cabin like this 2,000 years ago, however long. It was probably right there. And somebody said, "What is Buddha?" And he probably picked it up and said, "Dry shit on a stick." Like, that's where I'm sure that it must have come from. He's not saying this stuff randomly, you know? So Zen is very, very simple. And what we bring it down to is moment to moment to moment. When you're doing something, just do it. That's all. And if we do that, time and space disappear, right? So that's kind of like the everyday point of entry into this big metaphysical truth. When you're doing something, just do it. Another saying that popped up on actually social media the other day for me. You sit there and you scroll, and it just popped up. It said, "Let go of all the things that you can't control." And then it said, "Why is that so hard to do?" And I thought, that is so true. So we have to let go of time and space. We have to let go of I am. We have to let go of trying to control the people around us and their, what we want them to be like. We have to try to let go of controlling everything. But there's one thing that we can control. And that is, what are you doing now? What are you doing now? Just do it. And I think if I were to say if something had changed over the years, in the beginning, when I first started practicing, I truly felt like I was this hot mess of a human being with all this, like you were saying, Jenny, like all this baggage. And I thought of it like, if I just barrel through, then I'll get there. If I just sit another retreat, if I just fast, if I just do 1,000 bows, if I just, so I had this kind of like put my head down into the wind and go like a bull. If I just do that, and then I'd see these other people around me or teachers around me and be like, then I can not be self-conscious, not be all these things that I am. And I think now, 40 years later, I don't have that same attitude towards practice. It's more like softer and more curious and more just like accepting of what the moment will bring. So that there's not like this urgency to kind of plow through something so much as to say, oh, what is this? Breathe in. And you don't know ever what's going to pop up because it's all in there. Everything we've ever experienced is in there. Like stuff that your teacher said to you in kindergarten, a commercial that you saw, some jingle from when you're 6 years old on the TV, everything that you've ever smelled, taste, it's all in there. And by cause and effect, when triggered, these things reflect back to us, and the beauty of how the process works. And if we're awake, we can just see it, be with it, right? So I think now, and it's gradual. I think practice is a funny thing. It's like water dripping on a stone, It's soft. Breathing in, breathing out is soft. It doesn't seem like a big deal, and it kind of isn't. And yet it's the biggest deal in the world. That breathe in, breathe out. That's our connection to our very life. It's all we have is this moment. So this soft, soft thing, like water, when it drips on a stone, 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops. The stone's so hard. This water so soft. Drop. After some time, what happens? Whoa. It can go right through the rock, make a hole. It's kind of crazy. So same as that, when we practice, that consistency of returning to what's true breaks through the hardness of our mistaken view. Some people call that karma. Karma just means cause and effect. You could call it habit. So that's really all it is. We're human beings. Buddha said, without cultivation already you are complete. Oh, that would be so nice, huh? And it is true, but somehow we have to cultivate ourselves to get there because of our habit. We come into the world and no reason, no meaning, no choice. We're just here. Yeah. We appear squalling at our mother's breast, and we don't have that sense of I am just yet. And we develop that through training and learning and people telling us, oh, this is a cup and this is a wall and this is a floor and this is an iPad. And we soon attach to those concepts, and we also attach to this concept that I exist separately from the universe. And that's all it is. It's just a bad habit. Even take away good and bad, it's just a habit. But this soft, soft approach of when you're doing something, just do it, has the power to actually penetrate that stone. It has the power to penetrate through that feeling of separateness that we have. I think most of us humans walk around the world in our life thinking that we're contained in this thing. And so we think that this is me and everything out there is you or other than me. And that very notion is what separates us then from all beings. It separates us from the truth of our existence. It separates us from reality, because in fact, we're not separate. We're not separate. And we have our famous scientist here in the front row, and she can attest to the physicists are finding that out too. They came up with some shimmering thing this week. I heard everything's shimmering. There's a new thing. So everything's shimmering. I'm like, Buddha figured that out a long time ago. He told us, if you sit down and meditate, it's all shimmering. But black holes and all the stuff, they're all shimmering. So we're all part of this. Our teacher called it cookie dough. She said, we're all made, it's universal substance. We're made out of the same cookie dough. And then you take your cookie cutters and you get a star and a moon and a heart and a dog and a cat and a person. And then the cookies look different, but it's the same dough. It's the same substance. And we're the same substance as the universe. So if we can just go there, then world peace possible and all problems finished. No more, I have to protect this body. And the people around me. And my neighborhood, my country, my religion, my beliefs, my well-being, my food. We have so many fundraisers all the time out there. Like, we need money for the poor. We need money for the starving. We need to raise money for the planet. The world is polluted. We got to do a march for pollution. If everybody just put it all down, their attachment to I am, we wouldn't have any of that. We wouldn't have any of that. It would be not possible to harm another person or another animal or another creature. It'd be not possible to harm the earth, because we would be living in the truth that we're all that same cookie dough. So that's an interesting question and a long answer. But I think it's so important to have a fresh mind when you practice, have a fresh view when you come into, sit down for a half an hour in the Cambridge Zen Center, or when you try this bowing practice or chanting practice, or walking meditation or driving your car. What is this? This is all there is. Future? How does the future exist? It's a thought in the present moment, isn't it? Oh, tomorrow I will. How does the past exist? This time and space thing. Oh, yesterday. That's happening now. And so if we can just enter here where we truly are, then we're together with the universe. And that is a big deal. But yet it's so simple. So this dry shit on a stick thing, and a lot of these other expressions that we hear in Zen, I'm quite certain Unwin didn't pull that out of the atmosphere. He just picked up what was at hand. Somebody asked Joju, what is Buddha? What is enlightenment? Go drink tea. Go drink tea. That's was at hand. Somebody asked Dongsan one day, he was in the market. He had the old-fashioned scales with the chains, and he's weighing out some flax. Somebody asked, what is Buddha? 3 pounds of flax. That means when you're doing something, just do it. That is Buddha. Okay?